Sophomores, this is the video instruction of assignment number 1, which is how to annotate a text, and the story of the story we're going to read is called The Flowers. And you're looking at my fifth hour page right now, but it's the same assignment. So I wanted to first of all go through the instructions with you. The directions, I've tried to make them very straightforward. You will be just doing these things in the order that they are on the page. Once you get to 4 and 5, those are going to be if you see them things, particularly number 4. I've tried to make a long list of all the things that you might find in a story in terms of elements or figurative language, not that you will find all of these things in them. So you mark what you see. Number 5, is there a shift? A shift is a concept. Basically, it's where there's an abrupt change. It can be a change in tone. It could be a change in speaker, like you go from one person being the narrator to the other person being the narrator. It can be a shift in time. You can go from the past to the present or the present to the past. It's any sort of abrupt change. And shifts are really important in literature, in poetry especially, and almost as much in short stories, because generally they stand out and they're going to be really important. So when you see shifts, you want to mark them. And then number 6 is the other thing I definitely want you to do for this, which is after you've done all the annotation that you can, you're going to write a 1-sentence summary of the story. And if you're working on this online, you can do it in a comment that you attach to the top of the story. If you have it on paper, then just write it there. At the bottom of this document, I have some other helpful suggestions that you can use or not use depending on what works for you. I have a sample of a page. I wanted to show you what annotation can look like. This is from my annotated copy of Heart of Darkness, which is a novel. It is very dense and complicated, and so I have a whole lot of stuff marked on here. This does not mean I expect you to find this much in every short story. This is just, I wanted you to see an example. You can see that I use different colors. I've got green, I've got blue, I've got a different color blue, which is just because I was going back in later years marking something new. I generally, my style of annotation is I label things so that when I look at the page again, I can go, oh yeah, okay. So for example, like up here, it says the Grove. And so since I've read this book, I'm going to instantly know what that's talking about. It just is a way for me to kind of know what's on the page. I circle things. You can see this where it talks about shapes, shadows, black bones, bundles of acute angles. These are all examples of dehumanization that the author is talking about on this particular page. Here is where it says the absurd. That's a reference to a theme in this book. So this just kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking for. Since you're going to be doing this online, I assume, you may not be able to underline in color. So I would use the highlighter, or you could change the text color, and then definitely use your comment function. The story you're going to be working with first is a very short story called The Flowers by Alice Walker. Alice Walker is probably her most famous novel is The Color Purple. So if you've read that, you know that she's a very good writer. You can also see this is 1988, and so it is an exceptionally modern story. We're going to back up after we do The Flowers and look at some Nathaniel Hawthorne stuff and some Poe, but I wanted to give you kind of an easier story to get started with. So you're going to turn in your annotation, which basically means I need to be able to see this page with all of your markings and your summary on it. I really have hopes that we will be able to have a discussion after that happens. But we're going to have to kind of see if we can do a video chat, or if I can set up some sort of online chat that we can make comments and questions of each other. I just am going to kind of wait and see what everybody wants to do with this.